What's up, everybody? It's Dan from Atlas Lens Co., and we're back here with another Telecast Tuesday. Hope everyone is doing great. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the stream. If you're just joining us, we do this every Tuesday at around 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but you can find our restreams on our YouTube in our live section or on our Instagram in the Reels section. So, for those not familiar, every Tuesday we have this wonderful live stream brought to you by our sponsor, Hard Ketones. Now, it's only Tuesday morning, but I don't know about you. I'm ready to unwind with a non alcoholic, slightly buzzy beverage that will leave me feeling energized and ready to take on the world with another 5 mile run tomorrow morning. And that's why I reach for hard ketones, whether it's in the morning or after a stressful day. Hard Ketones, thank you for the sponsorship. And if you'd love to try these beverages, we have them here every Wednesday at Wednesday Lens Day, 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 21 and over for the hard ketones. But we do have something for those younger than 21. We have another ketone infused energy drink that has no caffeine. I'm looking at you, Ketoneade Snake Water. Thank you at Hard Ketones. Thank you at Ketoneade for your delicious beverage sponsorship. It keeps me fresh, keeps me ready, keeps me running. And speaking of that, today we have a special restream for you. Stay tuned. We recently did a business panel with Vika Stubblebine from Not Your Daddy's Films, Barbara from SCL Equipment Financing, Rich Gunn from TCP Insurance. That's all about the business of the business. So if you are looking to start your own business, whether it's in the film industry or outside of the film industry, stay tuned because we have a nice little restream of that event and our panel here for you. And I hope to see you tomorrow at Wednesday Lens Day, 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you can't make it here to our Glendale headquarters tomorrow, come on by any Wednesday. We do it every Wednesday. You can count on us. And if you're anywhere else in the world and you'd like to have the Atlas Lens Co experience, shoot us an email to info@atlaslensco.com or hit us in the comments. We can set up a live virtual demonstration where you can test our lenses, direct us virtually, and download your own dailies direct to your computer so you can do color correction, you can make an edit, you can experience the world of cinematography in your hands. And thank you, Hajun, for your fantastic flair. Thank you, B, for your wonderful technical production today. Thank you, Devonte, for making my day better every day that I see you here. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. So I'm going to see if there's any questions. And if there's no questions from the audience, we are going to jump right in to today's restream of Atlas Lens Co. standing on business, the business of the business in Hollywood. Let us know if there's any questions. Looks like we got two quick questions coming in from the audience. We're going to do our best to answer those, and feel free to throw more in there if you have more questions. I'm queuing up. I'm listening. Here we go.
What is this filmed on?
We are currently looking at me through an Alexa Mini LF with an Atlas Mercury 42 millimeter lens, and we're streaming live on Instagram Live and YouTube Live simultaneously, thanks to the power of the free OBS Studio software, a Blackmagic design switcher, and the YOLO Live YOLO box. I think I got that right. That thing is pretty sick. It's emulating a normal Instagram installation on an Android device, and that's how we're able to get a professional camera into our Instagram live stream. And we're looking at us through the wonders of anamorphic cinematography. Thank you for that question. It was a great one, and I'm listening for the next question. Come on in, drop a few more questions before we start the stream, and we'll get going. Let's go.
Last question
Last
here.
question is,
Estimated time for the 27 mil Mercury.
so we are going to be opening orders for the 27 millimeter Mercury in just a few weeks. Stand by, get ready, save your pennies. 27 millimeter Mercury, 24 millimeter Mercury, 32 millimeter Mercury, all coming down the pipeline. Can't wait to deliver those to you. They are in beta testing right now on film sets around the world, and we will see you soon. So let's start that stream. Unless there's any other questions, I think we're good to go. Check it out, Standing on Business. Watch the stream. We'll see you in a moment. Peace. Really excited to start the panel. Thank you all so much for joining us. So if everyone, Vika, Rich, Barbara, if you'd like to join me up here, we're about to kick off the panel. How does one balance their personal and professional lives in regard to working on sets or in business in general?
I've been really bad at that in the past. I think that my instinct is not, do I want to do something? It's, do I have time to do it? And then I'll look at my calendar and every hour is accounted for, and then I need to like be horizontal for a couple hours by myself to take care of that. I think the best thing you can do is, or what I've tried to do, is give myself empty space. Like, I religiously use an online calendar and a planner, and I'm like, this, I put a block. I'm like, give yourself time for you, because you might not think you need it when you're looking 2 weeks ahead, but it's really great to have that for yourself. And I think also asking yourself, like, how do I want to spend my time? What does my ideal, like these philosophical questions, honestly, like, what is a successful life? What does a good life look like to me? And while you're building your career, and we know how long hours are on set, like, you're there from sun up to sundown, and then you just sleep, and that can be really tiring. So what do you need to do to take care of you on the weekend? Like, I need to go hiking. I need to put my phone away on a Sunday. And I think those small sort of mindful things can really help you do all the other stuff well.
Great answer. And, you know, to your point, I think planning is being on the road and knowing, you know, the thing that being on film sets taught me is that you can have the best laid plans, but always know that somebody's going to throw a wrench in those plans. But the planning is still important. So dream board what you want life to be like you said, map out, have a role model for how you want your ideal life to be, but also be aware that many things are going to get in the way of that. And then I'll try to address my way of interacting with work-life balance after I open the floor to some of my co-panelists here.
I think for me, I try to enjoy life as much as I can, because we're only here for a brief period of time. I think staying healthy and working out. One of the things that I don't do is I don't take my work home. I don't talk about it to my family. I mean, I try to like defrag, because I need to defrag sometimes. I treat myself to things that, working out, you know, doing the things that I need to do. And one of the things I think that is really important, and it's a learning process even today for me, and I don't have it down perfect, but I try to take the negative thoughts and replace them with good thoughts. I think the mind, you know, is really important. And so just be kind to yourself and be forgiving of yourself, and always know that you are the most important person there is out there, and that you're loved, and be kind to yourself, and keep your body healthy, because you want to stay here for a while and enjoy what you do.
Really well said.
I'm certainly not a model for work-life balance, so I'll go last. But my wife is HR at a PR agency. She always says, "Close your laptop, you know, take some time off." And I have a 4-year-old at home, so I've, you know, now more than ever, I've practiced that. But I would say, you know, working with intent, and especially in young careers, I mean, just being in this room says a lot about each and every one of you. You came here with intent and looking to gain whatever that might have been, whatever you're looking to accomplish. And, you know, just because you work 15 hours doesn't mean you worked any harder than the person next to you. And that's based on my own personal experiences. Playing to my strengths is something, as my colleague Amanda Felix, our agency director, says often, and I've adopted that term. Play to your strengths. I'm a light night owl, so I know when I excel, and I know when I can really turn it on, and for me that works best, right? And then whether that's an 8-hour day or a 4-hour day or the latter, I'm usually recognizing that and working into the late night hours, sometimes 1, 2 in the morning. But yeah, don't strain yourself trying to just work, go in with intent, and take care of yourself. That's what I've been doing. Started working out last month.
Hey.
Get it?
Can't tell just yet, but
I was just going to add on the laptop thing because you can't always, you can never really handle how other people interact with you. And we're in a business of working with so many different personalities and kinds of people. You can only really handle your own reaction and how you do business. So something that we did at Not Your Daddy's Films, because we are a combo of, like, I'm an early morning person and my coworker is a night owl, but we know we can do the work whenever, but we're not going to get responses from each other if it is outside the hours of 9 to 6. So we use Slack, we have these like online forms, and I can do it at 6 in the morning, but I'm not expecting a response from anybody until around 9.
Slack timer,
Yeah.
game changer. Well, I'm going to take a page from Brene Brown. If anybody's ever read or heard any podcasts or talks from Brene Brown, and be vulnerable with you for a second and just share that one of the reasons I'm so driven is that I have a lot of trauma and hurt in my life and in my heart, and I think that's something that is both good and bad. Just like all things, there's a good and a bad side to those things. So in a sense, that hurt has given me drive. It's a fuel that I use to move myself forward and to move forward with ideas that I think are better for me or better for the world in general. And the question I asked myself this morning when I was running with my friend is, I'm running, what am I running from? I'm running from that hurt, but what am I running towards? I'm running towards a better future, a better tomorrow, a better myself, a better product, a better world of cinematography. And that's great, but at the end of the day, if we burn ourselves to the ground, what good is that? Because as you said, we're only here for a certain amount of time. So the question I started asking myself next is, when I started this business, I was working 16 to 18 hours a day, but I was getting 32 to 36 hours worth of work done in those 16 to 18 hours. So what I've realized is the secret is optimizing your use of time. So if I can get done in 12 hours, what would take the average person 24 hours, I'm beating the clock. I don't want to be on the clock, and this is why entrepreneurs are who we are, because we want to work for ourselves. We want to work for what we believe in, not what, Billy believes in or whatever. We want to work for what we believe in, for our own good, for the future and goodness of people we like and support and believe in also. And if we can optimize that use of time, we're not just clock punching and looking to burn the hours. We are working towards buying back more time to learn, to grow, to develop. And so for not only myself, but all the people who I work with and work for me and our company, I'm hoping for a future where you can get 8 hours worth of work done in 4 hours or less. And in those 4 hours, that's your development time that you can learn new skills, grow new knowledge, develop new possibilities that not only benefit the company, but benefit yourself. And that's, again, optimistic, very optimistic. I have to acknowledge that and be vulnerable. Optimism is, it's a double-edged sword. It's one of my greatest skills and also my kryptonite as an entrepreneur. So be optimistic and find optimization is what I would encourage everyone to do, is seek that optimization where you can achieve twice the work in half the time. If you can do 16 hours worth of value of work in 8 hours, you're beating the clock. But if you can do 8 hours of work in 4 hours, hey, that's darn good. And if you can do 8 hours of work in 7 hours, you're really doing good. You're beating the average, I would say, for the average person in the world. But you don't want to be in the place where you're on the clock for 8 hours and achieving 1 to 2 hours worth of productivity or value. And that's what makes entrepreneurs entrepreneurs, I guess, partly. But I'm hoping for an optimized world for all people. So that was my vulnerability, sharing my hurt and what makes me run, literally and figuratively. I'm big on running these days. So Yeah. Do we have any questions from the audience? And Nobi, come on.
Hi, I'm Nobi. I'm a USC Film and TV production student. I'm a sophomore right now. I'm about 20 years old. And ever since I picked up a camera, I've always wanted to shoot everything. And now that I'm right now, I feel like I want to go owning a production company, having a business. But I'm still kind of figuring out where I really want to put that business to be and what we want to make. And so I think it's more of just me trying to figure out my thing. So I wanted to ask you if it would be smarter to still wait and figure out where I want to do till I'm 100% certain of what I want to do, or I should make that business and then have that business grow along with me while I figure out my identity as a creative.
Definitely number 2. You should start that business now, and you should just grow with that business. Life isn't about just doing the same thing over and over again. So start the business now. When my daughter was in college, because of what I know, I started a business for her. I mean, I got her a fictitious business name statement. And because I said, maybe one day, Crystal, you would like to have your own company. Well, of course, she was thinking I'm crazy, but she has that now. It's about lots of years old, but she named it some kooky name because she didn't think I was real. But yes, start the business and grow with the business, because you're never going to sit in a spot like this. Well, I'm successful now and I've done what I wanted to do. No, you're going to travel a road and let that business travel with you and have fun doing it and be kind to other people and be kind to yourself, and you'll be successful. But go today and get that fictitious business name statement and start your business and keep dreaming.
And your insurance.
Oh,
And your
I must say
We're here
about,
for you.
yeah, and insurance
Hell
is
yeah.
very important. Believe me, I know, because we're the finance company. We finance a lot of gear. And let me tell you how many times our entrepreneurs who have invested their world into their money, their 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, they get it ripped off or whatever happens, and they have no insurance. Very, very, very difficult to find an entertainment insurance company. Do you also do homes and houses and cars?
Not personal insurance.
No, person, so all business.
Correct.
Okay.
Strictly.
Very difficult to find this type of an entity, by the way. So if you have a contact, Dan has used him, you know who he is, go for it, because very difficult. And you get everything insured, because the cost of insurance versus the cost of loss is really high. I've watched people go out of business because they put their life savings into their gear, and then done. But start that business today. You can do it.
I would need at least 20 to 30 minutes to sit down and talk with you, I'd really give you some solid advice, but I just recognize the fact that you're here, you're in this room, you made a decision to be here. SC Film School, I mean, you're on your way.
Yeah.
I think the answer is right there, but
Right on.
if you want to huddle up later for a quick call, I would love that. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
For a fictitious business, how long does that last once you open it up?
Once a year, they'll send you a bill for the
Okay.
$25 that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just got to renew it every year.
Yeah, and there's another part of that too that I didn't have time, but as Lisa can concur with us, so a client comes to us, wants to finance their gear, and we're going to ask, how long have you been in business? They can give us a fictitious business name statement, would be helpful. That would be the time in business. Most financing companies want you in business at least 2 years, okay? And we're going to say, do you have a Schedule C? Do you guys know what a Schedule C is? So when you get paid by somebody, you're going to get a Schedule C, and we'll ask you for a copy of that Schedule C. Now, we don't care if you made $1, but be very mindful as you continue working. You want somebody to pay you on your Schedule C. They might be how do you get paid now? They give you a check and you cash it in your personal account? Or have you made any money doing the
1099.
1099 is to say 1099, but then you give that to your tax accountant, right? And he creates a Schedule C for you. Okay? So you make sure your tax accountant gets you that Schedule C, because that's just going to put the nail in the, because a lender, anytime you work for yourself, is going to need the fictitious business name statement. You're going to need that to open up your business account. You're going to also need to make sure that your tax accountant is just not bringing that 1099 in as a flow income through your taxes, but also developing or providing you with that Schedule C. That's a whole new area, but Schedule C is important. And I can go on and on about that. That's a whole new session, but let's get those two things under your belt.
Yeah, that's a great insight. I think it largely depends on your intention as well. There's obligations and criteria you need to satisfy, as Barbara had mentioned, for financing, to secure financing. Much like insurance, you've got certain boxes you need to check in order to accomplish whatever it is you need to do, studio, whatever you're renting. So I think that's an important point. What would be your intention in setting up that fictitious business name, if I may ask?
It's for like my freelance.
For your freelance work? Yeah. Keep in mind, just a quick point, LLC, a legal entity with a tax ID is going to offer, there's going to be separation between your personal assets and your business assets. And there's tax implications, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, there were many different business types on Barbara's slide that just to be mindful of.
Yeah, but if you're in a proprietorship, you have to be in control of your situation, meaning that you are going to have the bank account that's set up for the business. You're going to have the credit card meant for the business. Now listen, I do a lot of business with research and development companies, right? I have one right now who's trying to make a Jell-O pack out of a plastic container, or not plastic, but whatever. Millions and millions and millions of dollars going into this. They're all research and development. I take that down to you. Right now, when you get that fictitious business name statement and you get that business bank account and you have the one designated credit card, you get that money in from your flow, you put on that Schedule C, your life is research and development right now. Think of that. Just because it's not a product, it's your job. You are in research and development right now, figuring out what type of a production company you might want to be. Where do you find yourself? You should be a business. In my mind, this is how I think, you should be a business for that. You should be in research and development of yourself. So you could be, your own name. I don't personally like to use businesses as my own name, but you would start off as, Michael Smith, doing business as ABC Productions. Okay, fine. So people can pay you under Michael Smith or ABC Productions, and at the end of the year, you had to go travel, you had to buy some tickets, you had to go see Vika over at her place, blah, blah, blah. This is all a loss, right, on your financials. Because why? You haven't really made enough money. You spent a lot of money in your career that you're trying to build. So you should be able to write this all off. Research and development in yourself. I think everybody should. I keep telling my son-in-law this, because my daughter and her husband pay a lot of money because they don't have any. You should have a business. He loves to go fishing. He has a boat, okay? He should have that boat as a proprietorship and do some documentaries. I don't know, do something, okay? But everybody should have if I'm making any sense out of all that.
Sign me up.
But yes, you are investing in you. You don't have to carry the burden of that cost. Of course, you will in the beginning, but you should be able to use it as a business because you are a business. It's not like you're going to wake up one day, oh, I'm a business. I got my barbershop now. No, you are a business right now.
Love that. Are your slide presentations going to be available as a PDF for us to share with people who came today?
You can share them.
Okay, thank you.
You do have them.
These are invaluable resources, so I just want to express my gratitude to each of you for coming through today and presenting incredible.
Thank
And
you
I
for
have
having us.
one final question from a camera assistant who I know quite well. His question was, what are some things you might do to prepare for the worst times? Because I think we're all experiencing rough times in the cinema industry. And, you know, what are some things you could do to prepare for the worst from your perspectives?
Do not lay down and die. Absolutely not. Keep going. Stand up.
Let's go.
Try something new.
I was going to
This
say,
shall pass. Hard times are hard times. We're not traveling in a horse and buggy anymore, okay? We will get through this.
No dysentery.
And so do not allow the news and everything and all the negative people. Matter of fact, I don't like negative. I am over it. You want to talk negative to me? I try to help. I tell my husband now he owes me $5 every single time he comes out with something negative, okay?
Don't talk negative to me
Okay.
unless we're in photo cam, all right?
Yeah. So
That's a
it's
film
the
development
world
joke.
is all, and the faster we get, the more depressed we're going to get, and the faster we are with all these things. It's just coming at us quick, and the news is, you know, anything negative, they're going to make it and blow it out of proportion. You're living in this world right now. It's not as easy as when my mother was alive, when there, you know. Anyway, you will not die, and you, as long as you can pay your bills and put food on your table, have good friends that add to your life, you will just keep creating ways to make enough money because that is the most important thing in life, right? Is to put food on your table and have a home to live in and to feel good about yourself. And once you've accomplished that, then you can make the money to buy the big house on the hill if you choose to do that. But it's okay to be who you are today.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, anyone?
Yep.
go to a punk rock show.
I was reminded of that, you know, by what Barbara said. I thought about the Gorilla Biscuits. Let's start today. Look up that song if you don't know it.
My take just comes from at an insurance agency where we talk with business owners daily, and there's a lot of headwinds year over year. I mean, there's a host of challenges ahead, and I think the reality of the situation is not lost on me. I sympathize with a lot of business owners that have a mortgage and payroll, and they're taking out loans to, you know, just to kind of re-up their cash flow. But I don't have any general advice to that end, but I would say make sure that you have a strong circle of influence. You can go on to Reddit, you can go on to Facebook, you can go on to forums where it's very easy to go out and find that negative and reasons why we can't pivot or you know, be that solutions-oriented mindset. And I've noticed that, especially, which was more prevalent during the pandemic, there's always a reason to not succeed, or something but the fact that the people in this room have made an effort to go out and start a business and looking in that direction, you're already part of that 1%. And I think you have to acknowledge that. Yeah. So there's always going to be tough times. I've certainly felt it myself. You just take it one day at a time. I can't believe I just said that. But.
I mean, practically speaking, save money, put it in your savings account, invest. I have mutual funds. I think I worked at Sony for 5 years before moving into a freelance job, and the freelance thing still scares me because we, you know, while I was on SWAT, we were on strike. all the money I made from my first ever episode that I wrote for TV went to keeping me afloat and paying my rent. And it's a really real risk that we take as artists and creatives in this industry. So I think that the more you can set yourself up for success, and then like Nobi, you edit. If you can offer to edit actor reels or do the things that aren't the things that you necessarily your passion, but you can make money maybe cutting like a reel on some business's website or something. It's just being creative and thinking outside the box a bit, and also, not being super frivolous when you get that big first paycheck. Yeah.
I had some certain customers of ours during the pandemic just pivot to post,
Yeah.
right? To your point, and they did very well.
Yeah, I think it's also expanding your network so that you have people to lean on, because with those financial downfalls also comes the emotional things, which you guys all addressed really beautifully. When the fires were happening earlier this year, we had our first screening of the year, and it just felt so bizarre. And to be doing that when people had lost their homes, but we turned it into a benefit for the Entertainment Community Fund. And they are one of many organizations that offers financial assistance to folks who are struggling, artists that are struggling. So there are resources out there for you. I just learned yesterday that I believe it's through AARP. There are retired tax folks who will help you do your taxes for free. So there's a lot of things, especially in a city like Los Angeles, that's just like so teeming with energy and people, that there is community here, even though sometimes it feels very lonely when you're driving around in your car. So you can find help and support and all the things you need.
Well said.
Awesome. I'm reminded of something that Quentin Tarantino was talking about in an interview. If you can't live the dream, find something dream adjacent and give it your all until you can actually go to your dream. And the other thing I would say is, like you said, get by with a little help from your friends. So, what you give is what you get. So if you're able to help get your friends jobs, was the secret to my success. If I can't do a job, I make sure, and this is something that Quentin said in his interview as well, if I couldn't do the job, I'm going to put the next best person that I know in that position to succeed. Even if they've never done that job, if they can do it, they're going to be upwardly mobile. So I'm always trying to help people become upwardly mobile into possibilities for success. We're always looking for possibilities for success. Even if they're not the dream, they might be dream adjacent. Let's go. And the final thing I would say is learn Kung Fu. And I don't necessarily mean that literally, although that can be helpful in times of difficulty. I mean, learn. We can all learn. Always have the opportunity to learn and adapt. And I always think of Neo in the Matrix, and you just want to absorb. You just want to absorb it, and all of a sudden you are it. So you can learn by sublimation. Be around inspirational people that teach you things. Even if you don't agree with everything that they said, you can learn from people just by being around them through sublimation.
And keep in mind, too, you're young. It's okay. Like Vika said, she worked for Sony for 5 years. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur because there's a lot of headaches with it. It's okay to work for a company and be a part of a company in your field and be really dynamic to that company so that you can make the change. The whole world can't be a business. We need people. But what's interesting is what you're doing here. Let's say that you get this terrific job at this company, pretend you're my son-in-law, you would now know how to make that fishing boat a business. So you don't have to write off the $30,000 you spend every year on it, okay? So that you can write off the X amount of dollars he spends on it, way too much. So think about life like that too. You don't always have to be an entrepreneur, right, Dan?
You don't always have to. And as Vika said, this is a place teeming with possibility, teeming with energy, teeming with knowledge. Look at you folks. You guys are amazing. Thank you for coming here. I'm excited to learn from all of you. Thank you for joining us. This has been Standing on Business, an Atlas Lens Co. presentation. I want to give thanks to our team. Thank you, B. Thank you, DeSalle. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Miette. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Haji, and everybody for making this an excellent presentation. And I have to run, but I will see all of you soon. If I don't see you in Las Vegas next week at NAB, I'll see you at the following Wednesday right here at Atlas Lens Co., or you can find us online. You can find our panelists online, and I hope to see all of you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.